Goeienaand. Good evening, fellow South Africans. And yes, I'm wearing my Zimbabwe hat. We have another episode of the EFF Goon show in Parliament, believe it or not. And this happened yesterday, or in fact, I think it was today, because you guys are behind me. Yeah, it would have been today. It would have been today, Friday. And you had an explosive mixture with a couple of people missing in action, which was interesting. The explosive mixture was Pravan Gordhan giving a short speech in Parliament. The members of the EFF sitting on the side, carrying on like a bunch of headless chooks or goons. And the goon's been kicked out of Parliament a couple of times, and you can see why by watching the video. And, of course, chaos returns to Parliament. But the very interesting thing is that neither Malema or Shivambu are present in the Parliament. I guess they'll be with their lawyers and be looking at how they can try and defend an indefensible position regarding that billion rand and the slush fund that they had in there. And I guess there are a whole lot of other things that are starting to boil to the top. But of course, Malema's going to blame the media. All right, guys, enjoy the video. And please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. And don't forget the live stream this Sunday at 8 p.m. Johannesburg time. We're going to have two great conversations on there. I'll put a link to the live stream down below. Take care. And remember to subscribe to the live stream channel to be kept informed when it happens. Bye for now.
The next speaker is the Honourable Minister of Public Enterprises.
Chairperson, honourable members.
Speaker.
From March.
Order.
Honourable Minister, will you just take a seat, please? Why are you rising, Honourable Member?
Chair, without disturbing the House, we want to submit here that we are not going to listen to a greatest enabler of state capture. We are going to leave the House until they finish speaking.
That's not the point of order.
Pravin Gordhan remains the greatest enabler of state
Switching off your mic now. I said I'll switch off your mic, and I switched your mic off. Please take your seat. Please take your seat, Honourable Member. Where is the Sergeant at Arms? Where is the Sergeant at Arms? Sergeant at Arms, will you please escort the member out of the House? Order, honourable members. Order. Honourable Minister Gordhan, will you just take a seat? Let me take the point from the Honourable Minister of Higher Education and Training.
Thank you, Chairperson. I have raised the matter of those members and their breach of Rule 85. This is the third time in this House, and each time the presiding officers have not made them withdraw the aspersion they cast on Minister Gordhan. When those members come back, could that member be made to withdraw what he said, because it directly breaches Rule 85?
Honourable Minister, we'll attend to the matter. That's why I immediately switched off the microphone of the member to avoid, because it was quite clear he was not willing to listen to anything. Why are you rising, Honourable Member?
Point of order. It happened the last time, it happened again now. When the members leave, then they use abusive and vulgar language. Every time they do it, they've done it again, Chairperson.
Yes, Honourable Member, will you identify those members and put it in writing to us, please? Minister Gordhan, you may continue.
Thank you, Chairperson. As they say, the truth is hard to bear, but the truth will succeed eventually. Let me conclude by reading this
a set of lines from the speech that President Mbeki made in 1996 from this podium. I owe my being to the Khoi and the San, whose desolate souls haunt the great expanses of the beautiful Cape. Today, as a country, we keep an audible silence about those ancestors of the generations that live fearful to admit the horror of a former deed. I am informed of the migrants who left Europe to find a new home. In my vein courses the blood of the Malay slaves who came from the East. Their proud dignity informs my bearing, their culture a part of my essence. I am the grandchild of the warrior men and women that Hindsa and Sekukuni led, the patriots that Ketwayo and Mpepu took to battle. I am the child of Nankwazi. I am he who made it possible to trade in the world markets in diamonds and gold, in the same food for which my stomachs yearn. I come to those who were transported from India and China, whose being resided in the fact solely that they were able to provide physical labor. Being part of these people and in the knowledge that none dare contest that assertion, I shall claim I am an African. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Thank you, honourable members. I now recognize the Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Chair, I move that the report be adopted.
The motion is that the report be adopted. Are there any objections? No objections. Agreed to. The Secretary will read the third order.
The committee took a resolution to visit the new board as part of a relationship building exercise.
Honourable Kabashe, will you take your seat, please? Honourable Khawula, I've asked you to leave the chamber. You're not welcome back, sir. You must leave the chamber.
House Chair.
No, I'm busy dealing here with the honourable member. Take your seat, I'll come back to you.
Chief.
The Sergeant at Arms, will you see to it that the honourable member is moved from the chamber, please? Honourable Kabashe, you may continue.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honourable
The
Chairperson.
EFF.
Chairperson, we are not surprised. And asoyiki ngokoyikiso by the attitude and the behavior of the members of this House and how they receive the information, the way they receive it. When we exposed the Gupta scandals, it was the very same receipt that we endured in this House. It was the same behavior and attitude you had against the EFF until you disconnected from the web of corruption. But it's so unfortunate because we are going to the list and every one of you don't want to even see the truth, even if it's sitting on your nose. You will never see it. Today we are here with the highly praised Minister of the SOEs, who has brought back the nuclear deal in the form of IPPs. You think that is better than what the nuclear deal was? That is 10 times worse than the nuclear deal. And before it was fashionable, it was the EFF who have exposed the Gupta corruption. And all of you sat here, protected Zuma, protected the Guptas, until it was not nice to sit in the camp of the Zuma. What's needed to do in the following of the Guptas and the ESCOM finances is established here. You are the enablers of the state capture yourselves as members of this parliament. But instead, we have a minister of public enterprises who's hell-bent on collapsing the SOEs, that they must be privatized. It's not going to happen. We are already seeing that at ESCOM, where the independent power producers, which are privately owned and are slowly being added to the national grid, displacing energy, producing once done by ESCOM. Where have you seen where a person buys something for double the price, but they are going to sell it for half the price? Where will you ever get production and profit from that? These IPPs are controlled by a handful of local and international companies, as well as a few connected members of the New Dawn. While we do not have a fundamental problem with the renewable energy being used, it must be renewable energy produced and supplied by the state. Energy is of national importance and security. We cannot hand over the supply of energy to private individuals like the minister, highly praised Minister Godan. The push towards the privatization of ESCOM through the IPPs is driven by the logic of economics. It is driven by greed. And now you are blaming the DA for neoliberalism. It's you who are driving that agenda, nobody else. What sense is there in ESCOM buying electricity from IPPs for R2.32 per unit and selling it for 90 cents? It doesn't make business sense. The answer is that it does not make sense and it will never make sense. The IPPs must be carefully watched and cannot afford South Africa's energy supply to be privatized. You can sit here today and praise because you want to be put on the list. Let me tell you something. The day ESCOM gets privatized and the day you lose the SOE called ESCOM, you will realize that, just like you realized later with the Guptas, you will realize that your highly praised Minister Godan is not what he thinks he shows himself to be, and he's not what he thinks you
Honourable
think
member,
he is.
your time is now
He's an enabler of corruption, he's corrupt, and he's a thief.
Honourable member. Honourable Minister.
Chairperson,
Yes.
this member has directly breached Rule 85. Very, very directly. She has said, and you can check the Hansard, she says that the minister is a thief and is corrupt. She has not provided any substantive motion and must withdraw. And I think, given the repetition of members of her party, this should go to the disciplinary of the parliament.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Member, you must withdraw that remark.
What remark, sir?
You know what you said. You referred to the minister towards the end of your speech as a thief and being corrupt.
He's exactly that.
Will you leave the house, please?
Oh, with pleasure, I will leave.
Honourable Member, will you leave the house?